All right. What's up, guys? We'll go ahead and get started here shortly. We're just gonna hit up the old social media places that folks know we're on. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. So as always, we'll start with our prediction reviews. Oh, well, before all that stuff, I'm Rodin. This is Eve Station Trading, episode 19. Yay, serialized episodes. And this is gonna be a good episode. It's actually we get to take a look at 1 week later. As far as the big Tech 3 Cruiser changes, and to see if hopefully some of the mania has calmed down, so we have a better idea of what the market's looking like. All right, so we'll first go ahead and get started with our one of the buys we called out from last week, which is, well, not necessarily just we didn't do a lot of call outs for buys, to be honest. It's more of observes. Okay, so first one we're going to look at is observe melted nanoribbons. And why melted nanoribbons? It's one of the more expensive ancient salvage items that are needed to create the Tech 3s. Okay, it's maintained slightly above average. It definitely dropped down from the mania of right before the Tech 3 Cruiser changes. But then on average, it is still higher and it is slightly increased in volume. So it should continue to track up, to be honest, especially as we get closer and closer to fall and then winter time, where folks tend to play games more often. All right, that's pretty reasonable. Would I buy into it now? Not right now, but definitely something that I would keep in my radar. And before the Tech 3 Cruiser changes, I've flipped melted nanoribbons before. It just takes a while, man. It really does. Oh, hey, Dronica. And the reason it takes a while is because they're pretty slim. So you have to really find an appropriate time to place your buy orders, an appropriate time to offload it. And however, with even though it's slim like that, it is quite cyclical. All right. That's what I would do. I would definitely keep that as in your observe list, in your watch list. All right. Jonica says you can get messed over by corps dumping their stock. Yep, I've definitely been on the bad end of that as well, since wormholes are weird. Yeah, I mean, even before the C5, C6 wormhole entities got more consolidated, there was already, folks who just hoarded stuff from wormholes. And whenever they get an opportunity to get back to K-Space, that's when they would literally just dump everything. How common of a behavior is that? It's quite common, to be honest, because otherwise you're not going to get paid otherwise, especially if the main source of your income from wormholes is actually doing the PvE, like the combat PvE. Yeah, you need to sell that stuff, right? And then we'll go over some wormhole activities throughout the day too, throughout our time here. Man, struggling. I'm all choppy looking. Let's see if I can close down some windows. Alright, hopefully that actually helps. I didn't realize I was actually uploading something. I was like, oh, it's still going. That's why. So hopefully it'll clear up. Alright, so next item we got. So definitely observe on melted nanoribbons. Will it capture that same type of spike that it did from a few weeks ago? Is that something that's going to happen again anytime soon? Probably not. It's probably going to be more gradual, if anything. I can't imagine it being that crazy post balance, unless they do some further tweaks that really create a disproportionate advantage for certain Tech 3s. Because this was basically, this is a very generalized reaction, right? Because you need melted nanoribbons for all the builds of Tech 3 cruisers. Alright, next item that we called out as a buy, observe ancient relics. So basically these are the items that you need to reverse engineer the Tech 3 blueprint copies. So that includes the hulls and the subsystems. So we're just going to go over intact again, because that was a sample that we used last week. It's still quite high. It's starting to track down though. Makes sense. The general average is still high. Will it go all the way back down to where it started before the 90-day mark? Maybe not. Maybe not. It's still definitely all above average. So I've been actually been getting some of these items as a part of the buyback contracts, and yeah, I definitely noticed that they, like a week ago, they were so good to sell, but then they started kind of dropping back. It happens. All right, next item that we looked at, large shield extender 2s. The main reason I called this out this is kind of just I would probably categorize this under like the items that would be useful for that historically have been used by Tech 3 cruisers. Like Tengus used to use this a lot, but now that the Lokis are super popular, yeah, I think I'm not sure which is more popular, the shield or the armor Lokis, but regardless, it's viable for it because it can be bonus for shield or armor. It didn't move. It literally just moved sideways. It literally just moved sideways. It didn't track that much further down from where we were looking at it. Just gotta wait, I think. I think it will come back up, but I was really expecting it to come back up by now. Coffee says Rain said she'd like you to plug in her slave pod. What? I'm poor, man. I haven't used implants in like since 2010. I just find no use for them. I die too often. All right, so the cells. This is where we called out Tech 3 cruisers for obvious reasons. They were super new, not super new, but like fresh out of the rebalance board. Dang, big drop for Legion, but still historic above average. Not by much though. Not by much. Dude, that's a big drop. Holy fuck, that's a big drop. For being one of the two Tech 3 cruisers that actually genuinely received buffs from that rebalancing, this is pretty surprising. I guess it's not that big of a buff, or it was too much. Like like it was biased market sentiment. Just for giggles. It's high volume drops too, man. Look at that. Ooh, my goodness. High volume drops. All of this high volume drops. I've never actually flown the Legion, so I don't know how much better they really got. If anyone can actually kind of speak of that, that'd be great. I have no point of reference. This is actually literally the only Tech 3 cruiser that I've never flown. I could fly, but no, I've never flown it. Never flown it. Okay, same thing with the Tengu. All right, it looks all right. So this may be a, um, a pattern of dropping value because we've passed the mania. Kind of makes sense though, right, guys? I mean, oh, ooh, shiny. 2 weeks later, or not even 1 week later, it's not that shiny anymore. Yeah. Okay. Dang, Proteus. Like literally almost went almost all the way back down to where it started. That's crazy. That's super crazy. People just really didn't like that shit. So even the Loki suffered crossing the moving averages crossing below to display a negative trend, but not nearly as bad as the others. This is a lot more survivable. as far as flipping it, a lot more survivable. It is still marked decrease in I'm sorry, an increase in volume with decreasing prices, which is pretty bad. That's a bad sign. But it is what it is. It is what it is. All right. So what did we learn from that? They're still overall trending above average. There is increased volume on them, so that's good. That in and of itself actually is good. Unfortunately, it was increased volume while a downward price trend was happening. No, we'll see. We'll see where it kind of starts moving sideways. So we'll have a better idea of, generally is there demand for these items still? Because the increase in items bought was just tremendous over a very short amount of time, and if they're not being destroyed, then they kind of just sit as surplus inventory, right? There's no demand since they're not dying. So we'll see. Definitely worth looking into. But then, what does that really tell you? If all these things have been bought, have exchanged hands, but they're not dying, so I think it's pretty fair to expect that at least within the next, if I were to make a guess, within the next week, 2 weeks, there may be opportunities to actually place buy orders for these things with the intent to flip them. Yeah, I'm not sure how long it's going to take to actually get to the point where they are going to be good for flipping, but we'll see. If I was not a builder, but if I intended to flip these, I would be super cautious right now. I probably wouldn't, unless I had advanced knowledge of anything. Let's say big alliance number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is intending to buy like 10,000 units of this, something like that. I'm probably not gonna bother flipping these until I see at least one cyclic pattern. So one upward pattern and downward, and then starting to go back up again. It gives me a point of reference, right? It may not exactly copy the previous pattern, but it's still a point of reference. Right now, we don't have one because we've seen the manic buys right now, and now we're starting to see the oversupply, and we kind of have to go back to the same pattern again just to really see like the cyclic picture of it. Hope that makes sense. P4s, okay. This was kind of caught me by surprise. I mean, it's got to do with refineries, but because it really just caught me by surprise how they were all trending upward. Because we've seen them push up in prices already, and I really figured that would have been the bulk of the planned production of these refineries. It's still a general positive trend. Broadcast node's still good. Integrity response drones, just walking away with it. Holy shit. If you have this, oh my god, sell it. 90-day highs. Nanofactories really came down to the previous levels right before it shot back. So this may be a good buy opportunity, to be honest, because the general trend of the 20-day line is still upwards. Organic motor applicator is still generally trending upwards. Wow. This may be a slow burn until refineries become buildable. I think it's actually that's a pretty fair hypothesis. I think general slow burn of an upward price trend until the refineries can be produced. But then really the only counter to well, not the counter, but the only motivator of the price continuing to go up would be actual consistent destruction of the refineries, which I imagine is going to happen within, very soon after they become available, after people start dropping them. Would only make sense. Maybe not in space that's super established by certain folks, but maybe in the still somewhat contended spaces. Self-harmonizing power core shot up for no reason. The volume's not even backing it up. It might just be a genuine lack of buy orders. It's kind of strange. No, not really. That's actually very flippable right there. Serial conduits. It's more. It's just a wide um, trading channel with these just kind of really weird, big, week-long bumps. Furikano says, "What is your start budget?" The very first time I started trading, like seriously, my budget was about 2 billion. At one point, I was controlling upwards of 100 billion ISK, but not my own money. I was trading for other people. Gone are those days. They were pretty stressful days, to be honest. It's nicer to draw back down to much smaller amounts of more manageable amounts of money. And the last one, wetware mainframes. Man, this was my money maker back in the day, man. Uh, this is probably gonna be on its way down. Yeah, I'm not sure how far this thing will go down. All right, cool. I'm kind of surprised that they're still up, to be honest. I'm not sure how much these P. Actually, you know what? It's probably not even all refineries. It's probably because it's summertime and not a lot of people are dropping their PI goods into the market because they're not here. They're not playing. Or it's getting more expensive to maintain alts that can effectively do PI. I don't know. I'm not sure how much PI an alpha can do. Spartan and Three Sisters refineries are all P4. Yeah, that makes sense. Citadel stuff, right? Yeah, I mean this might be genuine shortage because of summertime. I was really never paying attention to this stuff last year, so I'm not sure if this actually is historic. I imagine it is. All right, so that's our prediction recap, guys. Let's go ahead and hit up our other topics here. Recent transactions. Been working on a second batch of excavator mining drone builds. I actually have sold all 5 of the previous batch. Let's take a look. So all 5 of them have been sold for a bit over 1 billion a piece. As far as build cost, they were, I think, about almost 800 per unit, right around there. Furikano says, cool, I want to start from 100 billion. I'm living in a class 5 wormhole with C6 static and doing sites with Two times Nagelfars in C6. But it's very rare when trader is streaming on Twitch. I want to learn. 100 billion. I'll be honest with you. Once I got to the point where I was actively managing 100 billion is like doing flips like this, and then doing what I do now, it's definitely a lot. I've kind of, so no longer am I actively playing the market, like doing flipping stuff like this. Um, One of the things that have given me an opportunity to get a lot of profits is actually acquiring, not acquiring, but being able to work more closely with folks that do buyback programs. What ends up happening is I buy their buyback stuff, um, right at buy orders as close to it as I can, and then I flip it myself. So it's a nice relationship because basically they get to cash out immediately as soon as the contracts go up. They still get a profit, and now I'm stuck with the task of flipping it. So they basically have relieved themselves of the burden of doing the whole operation. So they're basically letting me in on the front end of their operation, the actual selling end of their operation. And besides doing those contracts with 100 billion, I would look into not actually messing around with this stuff, not messing around with markets personally. I would seek out people that will do the market stuff, and all I'm doing is giving them money to work it. Veronicas, I see you're enjoying Junie Mikaga's actors of raising excavator prices. Bro, I'm just following the trend, man. I'm just following the trend. It's just that just luckily, I think at the time that I was putting up my buy orders for the materials, they were slightly below average. So it was really well priced to actually build them at that time. Right now with my current builds, I think I'm right at average. By the time these are done, hopefully, the build cost will probably be maybe at least a 10% difference between build and sell cost. So right now, let's actually see how much they cost right now. Yeah, because I sold them right around here. It's still maintaining, so so it's about a bit over 10%. Ooh, I'm afraid to click. Dronica, what is this? Oh Lord. Damn. That's right, because they register in kill mails now. That's sick. That's sick. Fucking drone violence. I mean, hopefully, I mean, 50 billion drones. Holy shit. I mean, would it still have the same market impact if they didn't register in kill boards? Would people still, you know what I mean? Would they still face the same level of destruction? I would think so. It's a nice incentive, right? It's a cool thing to have. All right, so that's the first five, and in my orders right here, this is the last material that I need. 82 units of ion thrusters. It's like, come on, baby, just sell it to me already. Fuck. Hopefully, I get that. All right. What other things do I intend to build after that? Let's see. So I do all my building in the New Caldari Yeti Creations Citadel here. I like it, man. It's nice, man. So I'm working on this. Let's do a quick average here. 715 million for a batch of 5. Or no, that was just one. So 715 for one. So these are averages, right? So I intend to see, I'm definitely gonna build this. And a lot of these Tech 2 just exploration type of BPC. That's what I intend to build next. I have some Tech 3 items here too. I want to build these the panic button. It's not very profitable though. 85 mil took it to build. 98 to sell. That's actually not bad, considering it's just all minerals and water. All the Speeples. Tengu. This is from back in the day. I just haven't had a chance to actually finish building them. As far as my jobs, thank God. It's done. I'm too far. Christ. Basically, I'm working towards researching all the structure components. What am I gonna do with them afterwards? I don't know. I actually don't intend to build citadels. I think I'm just building them just to build them, just to say I have a fully researched set. I might just sell them as soon as I'm done. Actually, no, because then it'll be lost value ultimately. Like if you're not into the blueprint scene, because of how readily available slots are, or just general opportunities to do research for blueprints. A lot of times you can do all this research and you want to sell them. Oftentimes you just have to resell them at NPC prices. It's so dumb. Like it's a literal race to the bottom. It's so dumb. But we promulgate it because we want to sell our shit. It is what it is. Fuck it. Spar93 says bought a Fort BPO for 55 bill. Is that a good price? I guess it is. That's really good. That's really good. Veronica says, yeah, people want to liquidate. Yeah, and it's almost, I don't know, would we behave like that if it was more challenging to earn ISK in the game and we didn't have Plex? We'd probably not behave like that. I can't imagine us behaving like that. Veronica says, I was trying to sell an Azul EPO for less than 20 bill. See? Fucking NPC price, man. Fuck, dude. Hell no. I'll hold on to that shit. No, fuck you. You're not getting my fucking set. Alright, that's the next thing here. Oh, okay. Captain's quarters. Gonna be discontinued. Good. Next topic. Alright, so that's the link, guys. Yeah, so no more counts quarters. Apparently 3% of the population used it. I'm not sure why. I'm sure it's RP related. And maybe for a small fraction of those people, they just couldn't figure out how to get out of it. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't imagine people like going out of their way to use that. Like it's so clunky to use. But this why bother to get it out now, to remove it now? I mean, does removing it allow for better design space down the line? God, I hope so. I hope so. Hopefully that is there value in getting Eve to a point where we can legitimately have a walking in stations element? I would think so. Because this is like the only MMO out there where you're not a person. You're not a character. You're a thing. It's tough to make that connection as a player. Where I am an avatar. I look like this. But in practical terms, we're not that. We're a ship. We're a super carrier. We're a Drake. We're a Tengu. We're a Loki. We're not our avatar. So, but hopefully we can get to that point. It'll be easier to make a connection for new players, I think. Seeing as it is like an MMO, right? You should be able to have some sort of connection with your avatar. And as far as relieving ourselves of the potential technical debt from walking in stations, from the count's quarters. I'm glad that we're getting rid of that stuff if this allows us to actually do it right. That'd be nice. But personally, I don't give a fuck about it. Never used it. Or I take that back. I only have used it just to take like screenshots. And once I've gotten my screenshots, like, all right, later. Although there is an argument there that can be made, like, hey, what about the guys who have bought all this apparel, for their characters? Now they're taking away walking in stations, or count's quarters rather. And what I say to that is like, I'm sorry guys, but did you guys honestly believe that CCP was going to improve on this count's quarters element? You shouldn't. You shouldn't have. I mean, you shouldn't have thought that. I don't know why you did, because it wasn't going to go anywhere, I mean, it was cool to have back at the time, right? But you got your value out of it. You got your Space Barbie time out of it. But no, unfortunately, you're not going to have it anymore, unless the stuff you got was just like chest high, like a monocle or something, or troll sunglasses. I don't know. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. A hat, stuff like that. It's just, I mean, I get it. It does suck, but I mean, come on. Surely you weren't expecting them to actually do all that stuff. You're a very optimistic person if you did. All right. Next one's first wormhole keepstar destroyed. This kind of happened with like very little fanfare. I thought it was super strange that that's how it went down. So that's that news article from INN. From what I understand, the owners of the Keepstar actually had an opportunity to transfer ownership of the Keepstar, so it doesn't register as a loss for them. Smart, I guess. And it doesn't seem like it was there wasn't a big fight over it. It was the owners were caught AFK basically, but the nature of wormholes, like, especially if you're on the defensive like that, like if your people are already in there, they're probably not getting in there. For those of you guys who have never lived in a wormhole, you don't just shoot structures at a wormhole. The first thing you do is actually make sure to control who comes in and who leaves the wormhole. So wormhole control. Once you've established that, the act of killing things is just a thing to do. You basically have already killed them. They just haven't realized that they're dead yet. For a game, the rig cost $550 billion. Yep, sure did. And to be AFK around such expensive assets, that tells you about how much money can be made in wormholes, or how little people care at this point that money can be made that quickly. It's probably a little bit of A, a little bit of B, to be honest. I mean, I don't know. It's just really strange that they, you know what I mean? It was like, so they built the thing, but didn't really populated, or they just was genuinely caught in an AFK time frame. That's really, really crazy. Two Van two Vanquisher or two Cube Stars equals one Tech 2 DD rig. Yeah, fuck that, man. Fuck that. Fuck that. Just incredible amounts of cost, man. But you know they did it. You know they you know it was the glory of being first, right? Glory of being first. Regardless of what that first is. All right, quick investment group update. I'm really digging this investment group update. Basically, large investments happening now without any more management from me. Mission complete. I can just moonwalk out of it now. I'm moonwalking out of it. Thank you guys. So what I mean by that is the guys are managing themselves. The guys are making their own deals, striking their own deals, not needing documentation or anything like that. So it's I think we've crossed the barrier of being a legit community where, you know, if one of the guys goes out there, hey, I need 50 bill to do Operation ABC, I bet you not 3 days will pass, he'll get that 50 bill. I almost guarantee it. He's gonna get his funding because we know him and we know he's good for it. All right, so I think we found ourselves in that position, and on top of that, we have guys who are willing to. Who was this mission complete by Ronan Bush Jr.? Fuck yeah, bro! Fucking mission complete, man. It's like, you know what, that spreadsheet that I'm maintaining to, you know, for people, like all the transactions that people have. I mean, I will still have it, but at the same time, I can't update it if people don't tell me. People aren't telling me anymore. It's like, great, there's one less thing for me to keep track of. Love it, love it. And then on top of that, folks are policing themselves and actually helping each other by providing third-party services for each other. Great. That's great. Absolutely. So money's flowing, operations are kickstarting. I'm happy about it. I'm glad, man. So it's good to go. It's definitely good to go. If that's something you're interested in, hit me up and we can let you in the Discord and plead your case and see if anyone's interested in supporting you, or see if anyone is interested in taking your money. One or the other. Makulo says, does that mean it's time to create a neutral alt to walk the dark side of road investments? Yeah, if you really want to, man. If you really want to. But at the same time, you know, I guess the other side of that spectrum is, now have we created a kind of good old boys club where you're not going to get any action unless we know you. I hope not. I hope that wasn't the aftermath, right? But I think that's definitely going to be part of the equation, you know, the social aspect of it, the trust aspect of it, right? So yeah, I mean, it's constantly evolving, but I'm really glad that there is there is trust within the group now. Everyone knows who's good for what, right? So I'm cool. I'm happy with it. I'm super happy with it. Because as of right now, I think, I mean, nothing for nothing. We got some big operators and big wallets in there. I'm like, you guys are doing this level of business in our Discord? All right, good to go. That's good to go. Good to go. Good to see several hundred billion is flow through these channels. I appreciate it. All right. Next thing we have, guys, is our buys and sells for the week. Pretty common stuff. Nothing really struck out to me, you know. And one thing that I've noticed too, guys, is, I don't know if you guys have noticed it too, but I've been seeing a pretty noticeable decrease in the amount of buy orders. Not in any specific item or specific category, but just in general, I'm seeing less less buy orders, or less buy orders that people are willing to compete for. Oh, hey Sven, what's up, man? As I'm placing these these contract items up for sale, sometimes I'm finding items that, buy orders that don't even crack the first page, and these are just like common items, common meta level items, but hardly any buy orders. Yeah, Cool says activity is down across the board. Seems, yeah, but it seems a little bit more prevalent this year, market wise, from my experience. I don't know if you feel the same, but from my level of activity last year in the market versus this year, it's a big difference. So good or bad, is that genuine decrease in people engaged, like more so than usual? Ooh, I don't know. But we'll see. That's what I've been seeing at least. And we're seeing, I think we're seeing, genuinely seeing that effect in the P4 market. Prices going up, but the volume's not really following suit. I think it really is a genuine shortage because people aren't paying, or it's too expensive to maintain, well-trained PI alts. And of course, as we'll know in a few months. Yeah, we'll know in a few months. I mean, I can't remember the last time I saw over 20,000 online. I cannot remember the last time I saw that. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And one of the things too, I can't remember who I was talking to about this. With I think it was in one of the Blue Horseshoe Club episodes. Are we now finding ourselves in a position where CCP is okay with less players as long as they're spending more? Now I'm gonna throw that question right back at you guys because I definitely have a passionate ass answer for that. And but yeah, I mean, are we finding ourselves from a real life economic sense? Are we okay being a low population game? Are we now really okay with that because we found it to still be economically viable, like real life dollars wise? CCP ripping SP. Oh, Ghosts new one chilled the market a bit too. I'm not too keen on the kind of the effects of that, to be absolutely honest with you. It's a bit it's. So you're talking about ghost training? Cool, is that what you're saying? Yeah, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm definitely like I'm seeing that's how I'm seeing it. Even going out to space, not a lot going on. Low sec, not a lot going on. Ghost town, when I find myself exploring and every now and again find myself in nullsec, ghost town. Furricano says, how often? Maybe 2-3 times in 1 hour you check your item's position and change price usually. Furry, to be honest, right now I have more items than I have order slots for. I really only change it once a day. That's it. That's it. I'm in no rush to flip these items. You kind of have to find your style when you're trading. A lot of people are super active, like I need to flip this now because I need the money now. Then you have guys like me like, I don't really need the money. Maybe it's cool, I appreciate it, but I don't need the money, so I'm willing to wait a little bit, be lazy. And by lazy, I mean eventually, like the net effect is more profit, right? Because I wasn't that competitive in pricing it down. Cool says, by that I mean CCP asking the people give back the assets equal to the value of the SP trained through abusing the ghost bug. Reports are anywhere between. No, I'm not giving them shit. If they ever ask me that shit, hell no, I ain't giving you shit. There was a bug in your system and you failed to act on it. No, I'm gonna keep my shit. And if you push it, then like later, fucking quitting your game. Cause that's some Gestapo shit, man. No. You fucked up. You get to live with it, CCP. I'm sorry. I mean, they control that. If they don't, they neg it away. You know, and that's I really think that's bad business, Akulo. I really, really think that's bad business. Maybe I'm misunderstanding what you're saying, but that seems like really bad business to me. It's their fault. They need to live with it. Because otherwise, you're basically punishing your customers for you not being the good developer that maintains the game world. No. Yeah, it's how they're doing it. And from what you're saying, Okula, like, no, that's a really, really bad implementation. And that's gonna leave a lot of, you know, bad taste in people's mouths, man. Like, just hearing about that, and I was like, hell fucking no. No, I'm leaving your game then, later. Or I'm just gonna you know, slum it out as an alpha. Thanks for the opportunity to play your game for free. Nakula says, I know 3 big-time players that got hit with that. Only 3? Holy shit. That's surprising that you only knew of 3. That's really, really surprising that you only knew of 3. Wow. Well, yeah, I mean that's definitely that's my take on that. No, man, that's bad implementation. No, that's to me that's what sounds like is CCP got lazy. They didn't want to do the right thing for their own processes to fix it, and now neg my wallet. No, fuck you. You're not negging my wallet. Go ahead, neg my wallet later. Three that admitted it. Only 3. Well, I'm pretty sure there was more. There's more. I mean, I mean, the fallout from this, wow, that's huge, man. That's really, really huge. That potentially can spiral into really, really bad PR. Sorry. Cool, to be fair, they were lazy. They would just take the ISK. But they went out of the way to work with the people. Yeah, because the process itself of identifying what's ghost, I was a bit confused as to what's ghost training and what's a lapse in account status, you know, right from Omega to Alpha. I was like, well, it needs to be better defined. Because if it's not, then you're putting yourself, you know what I mean? You could potentially be doing wrong, you know, on, you know, doing the wrong thing for not just current customers, but potential customers that may be making that transition from Alpha to Omega, like legit. And yes, he screwed up the whole process. It really sounds like it. That's really, really bad. Like I'm not a business guy. I'm not a real life business guy, but I can tell you that that's bad customer service. That's really bad customer service. No, I mean that sucks. That's hopefully they can get past this and limit the potential damage from this. Hopefully. All right, let's go over our picks, guys. So our first buy is going to be the Fed Navy Mag Stab. Actually, before we get started, basically almost all of my picks here are as a faction item or faction ship related. Give you a quick update on Faction Warfare. Amar has captured their first system. It took literally like 6 weeks to get here. Oh my god. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy to me. Oh, cool. Funnily enough, the value they asked was based on in-gamer estimated value, which is open to abuse. You could have handed in 5,000 drone accelerators, which the game thinks are valued at 15 mil. Comeback season. Depends like the comeback season or Amar. Yeah, that's just man, Akulo, that's fucking crazy. Fuck that shit. No. I don't know, man. CCP gets gamed by their own system. How? Holy shit. It's crazy. This is better than my stories in the TV. And yeah, I mean, with that, but dude, hey guys, if you have even the slightest working knowledge about faction warfare and LP gains and what's good, take advantage of it, because you know what, it's gonna be super static until it's whoever's on top now is gonna remain on top. Whoever's in the bottom now is gonna remain in the bottom until they fix citadels. Pro tip: it's not gonna happen anytime soon, so please take advantage of this. Run this system ragged until they're forced, until CCP's forced to actually address it. It may take a while because low sec faction warfare isn't very well represented in any metric. At least until it starts becoming an abuse of ISK, which it can be, and it won't take that much effort. That's what I'm working on. I need more funds. I'm too strapped to actually make a move. Way too strapped to make a move. But if I did, I'd break this shit. Or at least I'd try. No, not really. Like, I won't be able to break it. There's way too much volume. This is way too much volume. It would just be like a fun thing to do. The attempt would be fun. Alright, first item. Fed Navy Mag Stab. So these are just based out of its cycles, guys. Nothing too crazy, nothing really out of the ordinary. It's just going through its price actions. Cool. To be honest, at this point, abusing Eve mechanics feels like beating up on a 5-year-old. Yeah, it does. Like I've never come across like publicly like how is CCP getting gamed by their own system? I don't get it. It's their system. Yeah, I don't know, but I totally feel you on that comment though. All right, Fed David Max Stabs. Yeah, I mean it's a near historical 90-day lows, so it's a really good opportunity. And the 5-day moving average is actually kind of pointing upwards already. And for the most part, the 20-day average is running sideways. I think it's a good opportunity to buy in. Big volumes too. These are volumes being dumped into buys more than anything. I'm not sure. It may be kind of late on this, to be honest, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is actually late. Worth taking a chance, I think, at least for a day. Hakulo says lack of overall economic supervision. Are you talking about the potential abuse of faction warfare? If Dr. E was around, this problem would not have happened. Did he have enough pull to actually make calls like that, though? I mean, all he can do is really recommend, right? So it's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like he's a dev. He's not. You know what I mean? He'd be able to. He would need to be able to appropriately communicate that to the devs. But yeah, I think someone like him would have been a great feedback source, right? Cool says macroeconomic issues with sinks, ratting, SP, etc. Yeah, like big, high-level picture stuff. I mean, should that be the place of CSM to make recommendations? Are they equipped to make recommendations like that? Besides Aerith, I don't think so. I think Aerith's the guy, and that's it. But if they don't listen to him, they're not gonna do shit. Alright, next item, Republic Fleet Gyro Stabilizer. I'm really surprised I'm even calling out a Republic Fleet item at this point. For a buy. Actually no, that's fine, yeah. That's yeah. That does not. It's cyclic enough. Folder says they need a macro dude in there ASAP. The way Dr. E was. Is that what you mean? Hurricane says, can you check your wallet, please? My wallet. I have 7.4 billion. I'll be honest. When I was receiving those buyback contracts, I kind of felt guilty because like I was making a killing on those things. I wasn't sure how much money they were making. But I was like but when I flipped them, like, dude, I was getting so much back. I was cracking 10%. Google says, okay, step 2, send me 5 bill and check your wallet again. Fuck you, man. I gotta find other sources because my contract guys are on break. I'm half tempted to actually like go to Horde or something, or actually get one of my characters into nullsec to be the other side of the buyback, but nullsec, nullsec's gross. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. No, I'd rather just play other games. Nullsec's so boring, man. I'm sorry, nullsec's so boring. I don't know. I mean, maybe NPC. I had a good time doing NPC nullsec though. To be honest, kind of just living out there. It was pretty fun. I might do that again. Actually, one of my characters. Spartan 93 says there is no good fight in null at the moment. For Akano, no profit. No one don't want to buy your items. Even Lowsec is a ghost town lately. Yeah, Lowsec is totally a ghost town. I was actually thinking of starting to do Eve streams apart from the station trading stuff, but I had to really think about that for a while, man. I was like, I don't really want to do a stream where I'm struggling to find content for viewers. Not the same way, especially as a new guy. That's a challenge, man. That's a challenge. So I opted to just do other games instead of streaming Eve outside of this type of content. That's kind of sad. I mean, I wish it wasn't like that, but especially in summertime, it kind of is. Maybe when it picks up a little bit, I'll entertain the idea again. All right, the Republic Fleet gyro stabilizer coming off of this recent high here. I think it's just a price correction because it got really close. It's just a price correction. It's all it is. How high up will it go? It's already starting to have outliers in the 100 million mark. So 85.99. That's very flippable. Oh, Akula says, I was thinking about checking out Albion Online, but no free beta. Caleb swears by it. I have played Albion Online on the first stretch of open beta. They are the only game that I know of that actually has the same premise of everything that's important in game is going to it's going to be the economy is predominantly player crafted, and there's no remote selling, remote buying anything. The materials are actually there is an actual sense of there is rarity. I think it's really got a good base to be kind of like Eve, but harsher. I genuinely think that. Hund DK says, "Hi there. So I've been lurking a little. What's going on with you? Sorry, I've been off the game for years because I got bored of it because I felt like a job being part of huge alliance warfare." It's still the same, Hund. It's it's still the same. We have new toys, but that's it. But as far as player behavior stuff like that, it's still the same. Cool says, couple of players said it's crazy grind, so I'm hesitant. I did the grind, man. Now, mind you, when I was grinding, wipes were still prevalent. I think we're done with. I think there's just one last wipe. If not, they may be done with it because they're doing a marketing push right now on Twitch for Albion. The grind is real, though. Not gonna lie, the grind is real. Hunt DK says, "What is this Ghost SP and what near market crash or whatever?" Ghost training basically is so you can train. So right now we have like Eve is now legit free to play. You can have it's called an alpha clone. You can have a limited training on it, no subscription, no nothing. There's basically a bug and or feature where you can train your you can train an Omega character, but it'll retain its normal training speed, even though it drops down to an alpha. And yeah, you can buy and sell SP these days using skill injectors, skill extractors. It's all borked. It's all fucked up. It's all fucked up. Wasn't thought of well enough. Well, there's like, oh, Eve? People would never abuse these types of elements in Eve. Crazy? What? What's wrong with you? Eve is much more new player friendly. That's very, very true. That's very, very true. Take all that stuff for what it's worth. It is a lot friendlier. All right, next by Orthrus. Not really flippable right now, but trending below average, and it seems to have hit a floor of around 200 million. I'd buy this. I'd totally buy this. It's a good ship, man. It's a good ship. Next one, Stratios. Stratios, so good. So good. It's wide. The guy got these really wide Donchain channels. It's all over the place, basically on intraday trading. But you know, it's hitting that very historic floor right here. Very historic floors. Yeah, if you have an opportunity, buy these up. In the last 90 days, there really were only 3 opportunities, and this is the third one. So to buy it at this price level, will it go lower? I don't think so. It starts to move sideways. So if you have the money, you may want to consider grabbing up some of these to flip. Hunt DK says, "Yeah, I checked out the alpha clone thing some weeks ago. Seems nice, but honestly, way too late." that calls for a beast. Is it too late? Yeah, I think so. I agree with that because the free to play MMO scene has been prevalent and thriving for the past 3+ years. You know, with marked success with certain games. Yeah, we'll see. But I think Eve in general is in a better place. I think we're kind of in a really strange place where it's going through a lot of changes a bit too quickly, like one after another, after another, after another. We haven't had time to really settle on not just meta, but settle on player behavior. I think, you know, that's kind of where I'm going with this. You know, like it's going too fast, and we can't adjust ourselves and get settled. Hunt DK says, honestly, when I read about the skill injectors, I was really sad because the whole thing about character age meant something. Yeah. So as soon as that thing became available, within the first 2 weeks, people were, I forget who it was that did the stunt of I think it was Iron Bank, wasn't it? They a character from zero to all skills trained and then just destroy the character just for giggles. Just for giggles. Cool says Eve just has no fundamental appeal to the new generation. Yeah, I agree. TCP had to do it. They're a business after all. Yeah, and I think that kind of harkens to the comment I made earlier, where CCP is now okay with a consistently smaller population as long as they're spending. It's the microtransaction way, right? And that's fine. I mean, they got. I mean, I get it. They gotta make money. They gotta make money. But is it sacrificing the spirit of the game? Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. And people are, I mean, right now, people are not compelled to fight to take space. People are not compelled to gain ground in some way. People are okay with what they have. And there's no aspirations in a video game. Like, what? I might as well just go back to real life. Cool says Eve is cheap to maintain with a minimal dev team as well. Yeah. Yeah, heard about that too. My reply to the guy telling me about it was only real Eve players do stuff like that. Cool says CCP switch from Eve being its future to being its past. Market PvP's best view. Hell yeah. If I were to take the time that I have here with EVT and instead of doing a market PvP show, do a combat PvP show, I would bore the shit out of you guys because I would have no one to fight. That would be competitive or challenging or at least entertaining. You know what I mean? Market PvP is the best PvP because it's the free for all that never ends. It doesn't want to end. Are we all weird for enjoying this? Probably. Probably. Or are we purists? We're probably purists too. All right, that's it for our buys, guys. For ourselves, not a whole lot of powerful items here. Again, more towards the cyclic items here. DG adaptive invones, our first one. We've seen this a lot. We've seen this item a lot. You should probably buy like regular stock on this by now, considering how often we see it. Like, it's still high, man. Like, it went sideways for a little bit, and then just jumped right back up, man. Sick. So sick. Cool says, I bet in 2 years there'll be 3 guys left in Jita. Caleb, Rodin, and Rita Jita. Maybe. Maybe. On DK says, I scared away 50 plus man cruiser fleet by jumping like 3 carriers and 2 frigs on them. Yeah, I can see that. Especially these days, holy shit, carriers are so strong. I even once jumped a dread into 100% loss, but made half the enemy E-warp and not return until I was in structure. Ain't that some shit? Ain't that some shit? It's crazy. Yeah, but DGs, I really should look into the other DG items. DG Invones, I think, is one of the more popular brands, but I really gotta look at the DG items because it drops enough. There's enough volume in this in the market. I'll be honest, hon, even having not played 5 years ago, like you said, you could probably jump in and reasonably get back into it, to be honest. Like, it's Eve. Things are super, super static for the most part. The core of things don't really change, you know? And if you enjoy the core, I think you'll always have a home here, you know, eventually. I left after spending some time doing lame pirate stuff. Dude, the pirate stuff does get lame. And that's why I definitely have balanced my time with other games that kind of remind me of Eve, but it's not Eve. It's kind of weird. Like combat stuff, if I'm feeling the urge to I wanna do like Eve like combat, I don't play Eve. I play World of Warships. I don't know. There's a connection to that for me. Yeah, but the pirate stuff is getting lame. Yeah, it really. I think that's why I've leaned on like the market community building stuff. I really have enjoyed that, like genuinely enjoyed it. Strong market PvP, best PvP always, man. I try to do the same thing with other games though. I don't think I'd have the same amount of enjoyment. I really should try it in Albion though. Once the full release actually happens. I really think if you know knowing if you take what you know in Eve market PvP and apply it to Albion, I think you can really be a force out there. All right, next item: Imperial Navy heatsink. It always strikes me that I call this item way too often, but it doesn't seem the volume really. But it's got this really weird price patterns. Yeah, it's totally a sell. It's way above average. Way above average. If you have these stock for some reason, please sell them. Please sell them. On DK, so sitting in low sec like four guys, meeting a fleet of like 25. They flee for no reason. Yep. We hunt them down, trap them, they drop capitals. Bastards. We escalate with supers and they whine for hours while getting hammered, even having far superior force. That sounds like Eve, man. That sounds like Eve. Well, it is what it is. I mean, you can't fix people not knowing how to be competitive in the game. Short of using overwhelming numbers. But at the same time, if that's one of the biggest like fun killers is the numbers, right? Like, oh, they just dropped on us 100 to 1. That's no fun. Sorry, we can't work around that. I wish it wasn't like that, but Span says if you're escalating with supers on 25 guys, wouldn't they reasonably expect you to escalate more if you're losing? Well, that's actually that's a good point. All right, and lastly for ourselves, Kaldari Navy large shield extenders. I think this is the first time I've ever called this item. I've always called the medium, not the large. It's actually been like steadily climbing with really short cycles, like 1 week cycles. Boom. So we happen to have these. Like if you're like my character that's in faction warfare. Oh, I took out my trading corp out of faction warfare. It was just getting too cumbersome, so I just have just one character like I normally do. She has almost like 300,000 LP for Kaldari. I should buy some and just flip it. Han says, true, but they had just taken the fight to begin with. Our 4 cruisers would have surely died, which was our goal. That's fine. But we would have taken at least a half hour of their cruisers with us. Half of their cruisers with us. Stroutlog says, where do you get items list to check if you haven't called this item before? I just browse blindly. I'll be absolutely honest with you. I kind of just go in there and just look. Just plain old look, like I'm window shopping in Target, man. It's great. That's really sometimes you just come across like really oddball stuff. That and I'm definitely getting a lot more exposure by relisting a lot of my contract items, and that tends to it can start to point me to certain directions. All right, the last bit I wanted to talk to you guys actually a quick self promo thing. Love these self promos. That's like what I link, guys. Actually, my first IRL stream that I did and I uploaded into YouTube. It's basically me going over the Investopedia stock market game. If you guys want to check that out, and I just wanted to share that because we're a fake market show, and moving forward, doing a stock market game. Uh, yeah, I mean, I was saying, thank you very much, guys, to the folks who have showed up. Oh, Han says, I'll toss you a follow. We'll surely drop by sometime. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it. We do this every week, man. Along with, so it's kind of weird because I do this with EVT, but I do have my own channel that I stream out of, not Eve games and more IRL like market stuff. So yeah, really appreciate it, man. I intend to actually continue with the IRL stock stuff, to see to see if I improve. It's basically like market stock training for myself to see if my methods actually work and if I'm consistent. And oddly enough, the same methods I use for Eve, I actually use for the real life stuff, and it works. Oddly enough, it works. It's actually almost kind of easier to do the real life stuff because you can do proper fundamental analysis, and Eve not so much. Or you can, but you really have to be in the know. This like nullsec level of being in the know, like big time nullsec level of being in the know. That's what it feels like, at least. So we stream to buy Charlie. It's all good, man. I actually let me link my YouTube channel. All the episodes that I do here get eventually uploaded there within the next 2-3 days or so. I've been lagging behind because I'm a bit behind on since I've been streaming. I've been streaming every day, and for the stuff that I do, if it's appropriate, I just basically just upload the whole thing into YouTube. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to edit it and do like a highlights type of thing to make it more digestible for YouTube. It's like follows are free, man. Can never have too many channels to check out. Twitch saved me from doing very dumb shit, so at least I can do share love. Hey, I appreciate it, dude. And that's my link for the my channel, and it has all of the the Eve Trade Station streams. I have it in there, and recent items that I've been playing and streaming as well. So I'm actually really taking an honest attempt at streaming consistently. I've been streaming 0100 UTC, so same time as when we started here, and doing that every day. I have to adjust my my little message thing. I actually can't do it Fridays because that's when, or at least not at the same time, because that's when Open Comms is on, and I do watch Open Comms. So I'll see. I prefer to watch them live, to be honest. So I might actually take away the Friday bit and leave that as an actual Open Comms night, right? Love those guys. Those guys have motivated me to do the e media stuff and then branch off into what I'm trying to do now, which is the stream and YouTube bit. All right, but that's really all I got, guys. If anyone's interested in the IRL stock stuff, I'm gonna be doing that on Saturday, and yeah, I'm gonna shoot for same time 0100 UTC. Oh, for Ricardo says you don't use eMogul? Why, yes, I do. I do use eMogul. Unfortunately, I'm trying to, for the purpose of the stream, I try to do it kind of in a as purely in-game way as possible, but I highly recommend using eMogul. I think there are other profit tracking tools out there, but I think eMogul has one of the more well-rounded tool sets in total, in general. Hong says VODs can never beat live. That's so true. That's so true. At least for me, even though I lurk 90% of the time, Twitch culture is very lurky. It's very, very lurky. So it's a very that's the nature of it though, right? Because as soon as you log into Twitch, front page, there's already a stream going, right? Cool. Well, thanks very much, guys. I think that's really all I have. I've been running for about an hour and a half here, and we'll do this again next week for sure. And then Saturday, if you want to check me out, I'll put out put the word out for my IRL stock stuff. And if there's enough interest, maybe we can start our actual stock market game. I'm trying to get the guys out of my Discord to do that, but we'll see. It's gonna take some coordination. Anyway, I appreciate it, and hope to see you guys again soon. If not, you can catch me on my personal channel. It's just Rodin12. And then what are we doing tomorrow? I think tomorrow I'm doing either Gwent or Master X Master. Probably Gwent. Because I'm actually doing like a road to ranked type of series where I have to work my way up to ranked to be able to do ranked, all free to play, like not buying a single pack. All right, hey, you too, Hunked. Have a great night. Have a great night. I would really appreciate it, and I'll have this this up hopefully within the next 2 days or so. I'm working on uploading one World of Warships video right now, so as soon as that's done, I'll put this one up. So thanks, guys.